What happens to a client with an offshore trust after they've been sued and after a court has entered a judgment against them? The existence of your offshore trust will be quickly available to the creditor during a collection proceeding, whereby the creditor is given tools to discover and collect upon your assets to satisfy the judgment. When a creditor gets a judgment, they can send to the debtor interrogatories that must be answered truthfully under oath, requiring the debtor to list any assets, including any beneficial interest in a trust. The creditor can also take your deposition under oath and ask you detailed questions about any trust that has been established for your benefit. So during these discovery proceedings after a judgment, the creditor will readily have availability to the existence of the trust, your trust agreement, and also your testimony about what assets have been transferred to the trust. Of course, finding that out is not going to solve the creditor's problem, because the creditor is going to realize that it's very difficult for the creditor to collect the judgment against a trustee located in the Cook Islands or elsewhere, and collect against assets that are under control of this foreign trustee. So what happens in a practical matter is that the existence of an offshore trust post-judgment is a tool you're going to be used to increase your leverage positioning in judgment settlement discussions. The fact that you are in a position with most of your assets offshore is going to make the creditor realize that it may be impossible, or if not impossible, extremely expensive and difficult for the creditor to satisfy the judgment against an offshore trust. And the creditor will likely realize that it is, as a business decision, much better for them to take some kind of settlement of cash in lieu of trying to get full compensation of the judgment by attacking an offshore trust. So the trust is a tool that you use to increase your leverage in settlement discussions. The goal of the offshore trust is not making you judgment-proof forever and avoiding anything under the judgment. The goal is to enable you to get out of a judgment with a very small settlement, and to be able to convince the creditor that he should accept an offer far less than he's hoping for, an offer that you are very willing to pay to put an end to this problem, as opposed to a protracted effort to try to go down to the Cook Islands and attack a trust, or to try to prosecute a fraudulent conveyance action where he tries to get a court to overdo transfers to the trust. This is complicated and expensive for the creditor. The Cook Islands Trust will put you in a position to settle debts and settle judgments on very favorable terms. And you should look at the trust in that light, rather than something that is going to simply eliminate you need to pay anything in settlement and to end up fighting your creditor over the long term.